Hey friends, we're going to be talking with Wanda from the National Health Association today. I'm really excited to chat with her because I want to know more about what they do, what they're all about, and we're going to talk about their item that they have contributed to the bundle, which is super cool. It's replay access to their 2022 conference, which is amazing. So I want to hear more about that. Thank you for joining. If you guys have questions, obviously post in the chat. We'll try to get to those. Just waiting for Wanda to request to join the live, and then we're going to have some fun answering questions and discovering more about National Health Association, because I didn't know about it until the bundle. And that's the cool thing about the bundle, is that you get to learn about new people and different people and all that fun stuff. So I learned about her and what they're doing from the bundle, and they just requested, so I'm going to add. Feel free to share questions in the chat.
Awesome.
And you can get the bundle from the link in any of our bios. Hello, Wanda.
Hopefully my husband will pick that up quickly. I don't even know how to shut it off.
Oh my gosh.
It's a
such
business
is life,
call.
right?
I
We're
want to
all
just
busy,
hang out.
we're all doing our things.
That's the first time.
Oh my, has that happened to you guys?
I'm
Have
just
you gone live and then you got a call?
okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay.
All right, awesome.
Hopefully they'll get the message. Hi there. You've been busy today. I saw you just getting off the line.
Welcome. Yes. I was live earlier with someone else who was in the bundle, and I might go live again after hours. So it's a busy day sharing and chatting and learning about new people. And I am so happy to meet you. And we exchanged a lot of emails while we were building the bundle. So I got to learn a little more about you, but I'm really excited for you to dive more into what is the National Health Association, because I didn't know about it until the bundle. And I'm glad that you're in the bundle so more people can learn about it. So as we begin our little live here, can you share about what is the National Health Association?
My favorite thing to share. So I'll jump right in because there is
share all about it.
The National Health Association is a nonprofit that was founded in 1948 by a group of doctors that wanted to teach that health results from healthful living, all about the merits of a whole food, plant-based lifestyle that was as close to unprocessed as possible. It was really very close to raw when they started. And I don't know if I shared to you, right, just fruits, vegetables. My husband was born in 1951.
Right?
His parents raised him from birth on this lifestyle. So the first 32 years of his life, all raw food. Never tasted anything cooked. So he was sick as a baby, really sick. Failure to thrive, not nursing well, and somebody at their job just said, go to Cleveland, we're in Ohio, and listen to Dr. Gerald Benish. He's one of our founders, and he was talking, and Dr. Benish said, listen, either do what I'm telling you about a healthier lifestyle or give them to me to raise, because he won't survive. And so my father-in-law read up, and that's the way they raised him, and so he's been an advocate for this his whole life. And so we're celebrating our 75th anniversary. He was speaking, they've been having conferences since 1949. He was speaking on the stage as a 10-year-old raw food kid in 1961. And
oh, that is so amazing, because like you hear like a lot of the raw foodies, you know, they're maybe in like the early 90s is kind of when some stuff started picking up a little steam, but you rarely hear of anything from the 50s. And I'm just like blown away, because I'm like, how did I not know about
and so it's why I stepped outside my comfort zone. I took an early retirement from my corporate career and said, I want to put some of those skill sets into running this organization and growing them. And as you know, Instagram is new for me, outside my comfort zone, getting on all social media. And most people, when they hear about us, they're like, how did I not know this? So you're doing what I want. We are like this umbrella. All the doctors, Dr. Campbell and Dr. Esselstyn and Dr. Furman, there was nowhere else to speak when they were coming out of college. They were speaking at our conferences. And so my husband grew up with many of these doctors, knowing them. They're all really good supporters of our organization. Alan Goldhammer at True North is on our board. Joe Furman comes every year and speaks, and we have conferences. I'm skipping over too much. So I'll go back. So back to NHA, we do a few things. The primary thing is our website, healthscience.org, is our education site. I have free recipes, and we have books and magazines. We produce a quarterly magazine called Health Science, and it'll come to your house. It's advertisement free. It's always an interview with a leading doctor. So this one is Dr. Loomis. We've got food addiction issues on there, protein requirements by Dr. Sabatino. And I've archived 42 years of this. So you have a library that you can just page through. If there's a leading expert you want to hear from, T. Colin Campbell was in the last one. They're just all so supportive of what they do. So we have the magazine that comes out quarterly. That's to our members. Our membership is $35 in the US. So we have a board of directors. They want this available to everybody. So they have not raised the price since 1978. Which is great. And I do a lot of free content. Sign up on my website and you'll get a free biweekly newsletter. And I do all kinds of links. One of the funnest things is we do timeless teachings. And we'll post a teaching from the 50s or the 60s. And it's mind-blowing to see how relevant it is to today's lifestyle. And we just started doing podcasting in January by Dr. Frank Sabatino. And we do the conference, and we do plant-based travel. So many of my members said they want to travel and they want to eat whole food plant-based without salt, oil, or sugar. So I leave next week. We're going to Ecuador and Galapagos. We went to Alaska earlier this year. So my website tells you all of that. And the conference kind of leads us full circle back to what the NHA is doing for this bundle. So we host this conference with amazing leaders. Last year it was Columbus Batiste, Brenda Davis, Frank Sabatino, people in this bundle, Stefan Esser, Joel Furman, Brittany Giroudi, Dylan Holmes, this year's Tammy Kramer. Almost everybody in the bundle is at our conference. And we have a professional AV team that records the bundle or that records the whole conference, and we sell those as replays to people that couldn't come live. And we just donated the 2022. They're set up professionally, 32 different videos. When you download our contribution, you'll just get a library of videos. And you can watch JP doing an exercise class or talking about the climate. And you can watch cooking demos, and you can watch Columbus Batiste talking about heart health, and you can see what they all are and just download it and watch them at your leisure.
That's so awesome. And that's just one contribution that's in the bundle. It's like there's hundreds of hours worth of video content in this bundle. There's like your replay of the conference, there's batch cooking classes, there's workout videos, there's so much video content in this bundle. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, James Sant has a Transform Your Kitchen course in the bundle. Like, it's so, I wish I could just share in like 2 minutes everything that's in the bundle, because there's like over 120 things, but I can't. You have to go to the website, like click the link in Wanda's bio or click the link in my bio and go to the website and see everything that you're getting for $49, because you're getting the replays of the 22 conference from the National Health Association that Wanda's been speaking about. You get that in the bundle, and that retails at $67. So even just for that alone is worth it. And I've got 6 contributions in the bundle. with my husband's
That's
microgreens
crazy.
course, like our stuff alone is worth $297.
Last year we had a
retail.
microgreen
So
person come from Florida, and he had his stuff shipped, and we had microgreens at every salad bar. So I love microgreens. So
wow. Oh yes, microgreens have been such a big part of our life, especially since we moved to Vegas, because that's when we invested in a rack. It was only $100, so it's not it was expensive. We just bought it at Costco. It was just a rack that we use, and then we got the trays. We use cocoa coir as the soil.
You're getting me really
interested. Plant.
Because
Nate's really the one that does it all.
My growing season, my husband's a big gardener, and our growing season is short. So I'm thinking of a Costco trip coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get one of those big racks and get a bunch of trays. My husband, Nate, he likes the trays from Bootstrap Farmer. He's got links to everything in the video course. So when you go into the video course, he's got links to the trays, to the lights, to everything that you need. Yeah. And he teaches with videos, and his course alone is worth $97. And he's adding more to it as well. He has a video that he's going to be adding. So if you buy the bundle and you log in to his course, you get anything that he adds in the future. Like, you always have access to any new stuff that he adds. So buy the bundle, you guys. The link is in either of our bios. Go grab it because you'll always have access. And plus with my Cravings course, if I add new stuff to the Cravings course, you'll always have access to that. Just log in and see the new content. But Nate is actually right now editing a video to add to the course about using recycled containers to grow your own microgreens in. So you don't even have to invest in a rack and get lights and trays and everything. Like, you can reuse stuff that you have around your house. All you need is
sunlight's a problem,
soil and some water and sunlight, and you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah, sunlight. I mean, you might want to like maybe invest in like a little light so that you can extend it, but that all comes with time, right? Like, you don't have to drop like a couple $100 on a setup. You can start
some of the
with
raw
what you
food
have.
Sites, because my husband is not raw food now. He never went away from whole food plant-based, but he likes a baked potato once in a while. So it's 80% raw and some cooked foods added. But I provide all the recipes to the chef who provides the meals to everybody attending our conference. And I had to give him some recipes last night, and I want to add more raw food recipes this year. So I'm using there's so much resource for raw food stuff that I don't happen to have. So I'm using that. Because when my husband was raw food, it was just the produce department or what came out of our garden. There wasn't a recipe. It was lettuce and tomatoes and carrots, and he mixed some nuts and take it in a bag, and that's how I went to school, and that's how I got through college.
Right? Yeah, I know. And it's fun to get creative. I mean, that's part of the enjoyment of the food too, is getting creative and trying new flavors and mixing things up. And I really enjoy like making stuff. Like Daniel Enzyme's actually in here. He commented that he was freaking out about over our food haul that we had from LA.
But next time in LA, I'm going down to that street you mentioned. It started with an E, and that was incredible. McGarry Street. Yeah.
Oh, we were McGarry Street. McGarry Street. Yep. McGarry Street. Yeah. It's 800 McGarry Street. It's actually, if you go on your Google Maps and you type in Produce District LA, it shows you this area. It's called the Produce District. And there's like, I mean, there's the main terminal, like the really big main terminal. They're like big strips. You can go there and get stuff, but all around there's like the old terminal. I don't have the address for the old terminal, but it's really close by. And then there's tons and tons of other warehouses that have produce people. You can just go, like, you don't have to be a restaurant or a chef or anything. You can just go. As long as you have cash, they'll sell you produce. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But as I was saying, for recipes, Daniel, who's Enzyme 333 on Instagram, he's got an ebook in the bundle where we made the raw vegan corn dogs, like with some Irish moss gel and veggies and some organic corn. but like the techniques, like there's so many people coming out with really different and cool techniques to make these like really interesting, cool foods. And it's just really fun to play around, and it's helpful for people who are used to having like lots more variety of choices to have a recipe or so to make something fun on the weekends, like, or whatever. Like we mostly eat just salads. Like someone was asking what we ate in a day. So I could quickly go through that, and then you could totally go through that too. Yeah. So like what I eat in a day typically is a fruit smoothie for breakfast. Well, before breakfast, we have like just loose fruit, like 200 or 300 calories of fruit before a walk in the morning. Then when we get back, we have a big, gigantic smoothie, like 600 or 800 calories worth. And then for lunch is a low-fat salad, but it's a massive salad. Like we eat huge salads. And then we snack on fruit if we feel like we need some. I'll have some bananas or an apple or pear or whatever. And then for dinner, that's when we have our either a really big raw salad, which is typical of our dinner, or we'll make something like raw burgers or raw soup or a raw chili or some wraps or something like that. Like in the bundle, there's 2 ebooks from Olivia Herzog with raw wraps. So there's like, yeah, so there's wraps, there's all kinds of different things, but that's typically how we set up the day. So fruit in the morning before a workout, fruit smoothie, low fat lunch, and then dinner typically has our fats in it. Like if we're going to do like pine nuts or cashews.
In an ideal world, I do a little bit of
what do you normally do in a day?
But I've been so busy that I've gotten a little away from that, and I can really tell a difference. So ideally, I'll make a huge green smoothie. I can't live without my Vitamix, and so that's another hat I wear. I actually serve as
me too. I know.
I'm on their board of directors. So they're in Ohio, and I have a Vitamix board meeting tomorrow. So I'll start with, and mine's like 75, maybe 80% greens. And I just fill it. I use a 48-ounce steel container, and I fill it with just 2 cups of water and whatever greens I have. And I love it when I have the microgreens. And then I have to blend that down so I have room for something else. And I usually will put in a tablespoon of chia, hemp, flaxseed, a Brazil nut, maybe some beet powder, some of the a green energy enzyme that JP taught me about last year at the conference. It'll be on our video. And I do turmeric and black pepper usually. And then I'll add, and then I add beans. I try and get a Virgil from G-bombs. What that means, he has an acronym called G-bombs. And I sort of follow that. And if you can get greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, the S for nuts and seeds, and berries, you've got your G-bombs. So I put my berries in there.
Yeah.
And my favorite is blueberries and cherries and a little bit of frozen banana. And that's 35 ounces usually. And I drink that until about 1 o'clock. And then I'll have a small salad for lunch. I'm not all that hungry because it's not that usually. And then I usually work out. I do my weight training or cardio around 12 to 1 or 12:30 to 1:30. Come back, eat a small salad. And then closer to 5 or 6, that's when I have a big chopped salad. And tonight I just said I want to keep it simple. So whatever we have in the fridge, I'll steam up some Swiss chard and kale and veggies. And if I want some rice to go with it or potato, but if not, just that's a lot of food. Right.
Yeah, right? It's just about eating enough, eating variety, getting that, as high raw as you can if you want. Like, because like my philosophy is you don't have to be 100% raw.
My husband thought, I remember when he was in his 30s and thinking about trying cooked food. And it was foreign to him. He called Dr. Furman and Dr. Goldhammer and said, what do you think will happen if I eat a baked potato? He said, we think you'll like it. And he's a small guy. He grew up on raw food. He said, do you think I'll gain any weight? He said, I don't know. We don't know anybody that's done this experiment. And he didn't. He works out all the time. And so he's still really muscular and fit. But he'll always be a small guy probably.
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, that's so interesting how I feel like that's another aspect of like, especially in the raw community where people are almost in a way fearful of the cooked food, when it's not supposed to be about fear. It's supposed to be about finding what you love. And that's why I personally don't eat cooked food, because I love raw food. So I choose raw because I love raw and I love how I feel on raw. So it's like, I don't even have any.
Well, that's what Chef AJ said.
Thinking, like, because it's been like 8.5 years.
For 32 years. Like, and he's like Alan Goldhammer. He's never tempted. If we go out and we're hungry and there's something a little off plan, I pretty much don't do it. But he would never, he'd go hungry because it's so foreign to him. And so she wanted him to write a book that don't get started, because he's never had dairy and he's never had sugar other than in natural products. So then we were lucky to raise one of our children got raised that way. We're a blended family. So it's interesting to watch a child, the oldest one, didn't get introduced to whole food plant-based till she was about 7. And the middle child was born into this lifestyle. The oldest one didn't stick with it. The middle child did. And, you know, what a benefit parents can give to their children. Like Dr. Esser, who's in the bundle raising, he's like 4th or 5th generation whole food plant-based. I don't know if you knew that. Dr. Esser's grandfather was one of our founders too.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way. That is super cool. It's so nice to know that there's so many long-term, like, plant-based people in this bundle. And again, it's not about all or nothing with the raw. It's like, we like to have the raw stuff in there too, because people like to have raw food. It's not like you have to be 100% raw. Well, all or nothing, right? Like, add more, and if you love it, add more. Just keep going until maybe one day you're all raw, or you try some days that are all raw, and if you really like it, keep doing it. Like, there's no people aren't giving out medals if you're like 100% raw for X amount. It's like, right? Like, so it's more about being,
do the best you can,
working with where you're at.
And I love that. And that's what the NHA, you know, we talk about the gold standard. So somebody asked me recently if I would promote a product of theirs, and it's really a good product. I might try it, but it's really high in fat, coconut flour, and one of them has just a touch of oil. And I said, no, you know, for the National Health Association, what I promote is the gold standard, the best of what the best is out there. Doesn't mean I expect you to go from the burger joint to that. You just make one step at a time and find out what resonates with you. And you know, too many people get caught up. I was on a live earlier and somebody wanted to know about the difference with starch solution in another program. And I just, you know, I get that all the time. And I'm like, you know what, when you're at that point that you're asking about those nuances, give yourself a pat on the back. You're 90% of this we all agree on. And then you get to these top level nuances. Instead of making it a deal breaker, it's just which one resonates with me, which one works with me. And
exactly. And another thing too, Angelica, who's Yoga Celebrity, she has her 25-hour yoga teacher training in, right? So like a yoga teacher training as part of this bundle is unbelievable. So you guys have to go grab the bundle. The link is in either of our bios. Go check it out. But I wanted to mention that Angelica, she's an amazing yoga teacher. I absolutely love her. She's one of my really good friends. And I had like a private session with her where she was doing a yoga class with me. It was one of my favorite yoga classes I've ever done. And she was teaching while we were doing like one of the warrior poses where we were standing. And she was like, the problem that a lot of people have is that they're trying to like do the little things first, like fix their fingers, tilt their head, whatever. And it's like, you have to start from the foundation. All your alignments and tweaks and everything, you start with the ground, the foundation, your feet. Like, how are your feet placed? How are your toes placed? How are your legs doing? Before you move up to your core, and then your arms, and then your head, and then your thoughts, right? You start from, So I was thinking, like, while we were doing the class, I was like, that's just like diet. You have to start with the foundation of it. And then you can work up to, like you said, the little nuances, like try different things and see what works. But you have to get the base down first, right? And my top, personally, for the base, the foundation, is eat plants, eat enough of them, eat a wide variety, and be consistent. It's really super simple, right? But people like to complicate it. And it's okay to like learn a little bit, like where can I get more calcium, or how much fats work for me and stuff like that. But like really the basis is like get off the animal products, get off the processed foods, add more plants, eat enough for your body, and get variety in, and just be consistent with it. And then you can work up from there.
But we hear what we want to hear sometimes. And I was eating vegan, but I traveled for my prior job. I was on the road all the time. And I just thought, oh, I can do a Burger King plant-based burger and French fries. That's vegan. I gained 50 pounds when I changed to this lifestyle. And it was just like Chef AJ, who went to True North in 2011. In 2011, I was 50 pounds heavier. Vegan, or no, actually I was allowing a little dairy, so vegetarian. But when I did, a lot of my dairy was that high processed fake cheese, whatever that was. And so I went out to True North in 2011, just reacclimated my taste buds. The 50 pounds was gone in 6 months. It's like, that was without even, I hadn't started exercising. And it was the same thing, just learning that foundation. Be happy with a big salad. And sometimes based on what's in my fridge, it's the same salad for 5 days. I don't even care. I buy what I love. So it's the ingredients I love going in it.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing too that I notice people, is like when they're like, well, I don't like this, and I don't like tomatoes, and I don't like this, or whatever. It's like, well, instead of focusing on what you don't like, what do you like? Like, what vegetables do you like? Do you like romaine? Yeah, I like romaine. Okay, start with that. Do you like grated carrots? Yeah, I love grated carrots. Okay, add those, right? Like, buy the stuff that you love, and then slowly add, like, after you got that down and you've got a good foundation, then explore the new things. And that's kind of like with my new 52 to a New You raw vegan transition guide. I have like one of the steps is to go out and your homework is to try something that you don't like, right? And just take a little bit and try it. But that's like later on down. But it's a step-by-step guide to like explore yourself and to change your habits and to add more raw food, maybe go all raw if that's where your goals are. But it's more of a guide, like a transition into different
in this lifestyle,
habits.
In
and
any other
like you're saying, okay with that.
If it's going to be a weight training program or I'm going to train for a marathon or something, I make a commitment, right? I don't love the build up, but I've got a commitment to get from point A to point B. So it's like, we just need to make a commitment to eat more plants. You don't have to love it. Just say, okay, for 30 days, I'm going to make that commitment. At the end of 30 days, you're just like, what's the issue here? I love this. I feel better. And it sells itself. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we had somebody asking about grains on a raw vegan diet. I personally don't do grains on a raw diet. I know there's some that aren't like really grains, like buckwheat you can sprout and stuff. I don't do any of those personally, but again, that's just my personal opinion. Like if you wanted to do high raw and have like a cup of quinoa or some rice in your salad, like it's not the end of the world if that's something that can help you to eat more raw. Because the goal, again, like I said, is to eat as much plants and as much variety as you can, right? So adding more raw, and even if you have to have a little cooked food, or if you want cooked food, like just do whatever makes sense, and following those guides, like eat plants, you know, low fat, obviously.
So that's my husband never had grains growing up. It was fresh greens. He never had beans because they had to be cooked. I don't know if there's any beans that are cooked. It's just... Oh, he did a lot of sprouts.
We do sprouts here.
The legume side.
Yeah, so sprouts I consider sprout beans, like on the, the Dr. Greger
today. It was nuts, dried fruit, things to be satisfied to get enough calories, especially as a growing person, as a growing child.
Yeah, especially, I was just going to say, a kid, kids expand more energy, or expend more energy than, many adults do, right? So having a little extra of the calories for the kids can be beneficial. But yeah, like sprouts,
and the
greens,
fruit,
vegetables,
even living
like
in
we eat a
Ohio,
lot of
his
roots and
parents,
garlic and
they ended up
onions
quitting their
and
jobs and
turmeric.
opening a health food and barbell center. And his father did all the weight training on one side and his mother did all the food and nutrition on the other side. And that was their business. She worked there until she was 90 years old, came home from work, hauling her garbage at 90 and fell and broke her hip. So that was when she quit working. But now I forget why I was saying that. They were just, yeah, the fruit. So she learned, you know, they had distributors from all over the U.S. So we at least had the best fruit. They had it. They ended up starting in the 60s a co-op in their basement because she could get cases of it or take it to the store and people would come to the store. And that's how, so I always have the best mangoes and sapotes and things that you don't even, you can get anything these days. I would do cooking classes at my house and the ladies would be saying how hard it is. And my mother-in-law lived with us after she broke her hip, because she lived another 7, 8 years after that. And she would just say, oh, sweetheart, you don't know what hard is. So it's, we really live in a society that it is manageable. It's just using the bundle and learning some of the tools, right? It's just, you're not going to just make a decision and do it. You've got to put a little investment of your time so that you can succeed at doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. And just download all the content and read one at a time. Like it can be really overwhelming because there's a lot of stuff, but that just means that there's a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of information for you. So you can digest, like, for example, download the National Health Association 2022 conference replays. And then every day while you're on the treadmill or you're going for your walk, listen to one of the conferences. Like, there's so much content in this bundle for you to learn from. And if you're looking to make changes, this is an epic opportunity to get.
Like,
there's almost $6,500 worth of content
on February 12th. Like if they call me February 13th, I'd love to help them. I won't be able to, right? It's just, that's it. February 12th, midnight Pacific time? Is that when it goes away?
Yeah.
So we're down to 3 days left, and I just would hate for somebody to miss it.
Yeah, I know. I don't want anyone to miss it either. And like I said, I've got, with my husband, we have almost $300 worth of content in the bundle. So we've got my 52 to a New You transition guide. We've got my Checkmate Your Cravings video course, Nate's Microgreens video course, Meal Plan Volume 2. We've got How to Build Variety Salads and Epic Dressings. Yeah, it's a fun. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure. There's also Food Journaling for Success and Make It Raw. And I wrote that ebook with Chef AJ.
I actually downloaded
we took her recipes and we made them raw.
I was working on the recipes, some of those are going to be at the conference. Yeah. So I am using recipes from this bundle to just try some new things this year. Dressings and I make her red lentil chili all the time. So I'm curious to see what it's like making it raw.
As a raw version, yeah, totally. It's super. I really enjoy making like cooked versions into raw. It's just fun to me to do that. And I would love. We're going to be working on a volume 2, so that hopefully will be able to be released in late spring. But that's going to be really fun.
Yeah,
I really love working on those with her, and she's awesome to work with too. So, yeah, all of you guys are. Oh, someone's saying, I wish I had known this about this bundle coming up. I would have never bought the Microbiome 21. Oh, yeah, I enjoyed that. I actually bought that as well. There is another raw bundle coming up late spring.
Are you familiar with?
There's always new things
Rick and
coming
that are in the bundle.
New stuff.
So my husband speaks in their summit every year.
Yes.
So about being raw.
Oh, that is super cool. Yeah, actually, Nate and I are
They're wonderful.
We're taking their school.
So my granddaughter is about the age of their child. So we're talking about raising children this way.
And they have
fabulous.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah.
That's so cute. Yeah, they have their little Liam. He's so precious.
Yep, I looked that one up yesterday.
They have a book in the bundle too. It's called Supercharged Recipes.
Books, and it's like, yep, I can take this dressing or that pate. It was great. I will. Yeah,
that is so awesome.
So for those
yeah, you'll have to share pictures.
Honestly,
I want to see.
I don't know if the hotel can handle 350 to 400. It depends on how much space my AV team takes up. And they were there this week, so I'm waiting for that answer. But I have over 300 tickets sold. So we only have, I may have 50 or less tickets left. Oh. But then when I get back from my next, we do plant-based travel, I mentioned, and that's coming up this week. So when I get back from that, I'm going to build my live stream virtual. So people can take a look at my website, and if you can't come in person, you can participate in a very active live stream and have Q&A and the raffle and the vendor booths. Everything's going to be available live stream too.
That's super cool. So yeah, you guys get the bundle so that you can download the National Health Association 2022 conference replay. It's worth $67, but you're getting it in the bundle for 49 bucks. Yeah. You're also getting like $6,400 worth of other stuff as well, including 6 of my contributions, my husband's microgreens course, there's yoga teacher training, there's fitness, there's all kinds of amazing content in there for you. So if you want to know exactly what's in the bundle, go click the link in either of our bios and go look for yourself. Like it takes no harm to just go click and go look at it, right? And see if there's stuff that you want in there. I just pay one price of 49 bucks and you get to download absolutely everything on the website.
And it'll be easy to, and then you have them forever. So things that I'm not even sure I want, but I'm like, oh, as my children are raising their kids, maybe they'll be interested. So I'm dropping stuff that I think I can share with other people or share in our Health Science magazine one day. So there's, I mean, I think that's our job, is once we kind of know this information, it becomes explosive with wanting to share it. And these tools, this bundle gives us the tools to have that knowledge and share it with information instead of guessing.
Exactly. And it also helps us to be that example, right? To be, because people, we're the book that people read, right? Our actions, what we do, our habits, they watch us and they take note, even though they might not look like they are, or they might make fun of us or say whatever, they're watching. So we are the ultimate example to living a healthy lifestyle. So using the bundle can help you to become that example and to be able to share and inspire other people in your life, because it takes one person. I had somebody message me in my DMs and they were like, how do we change as a society? Like, how do we stop doing these things? Like, how can we change? And I was like, it all starts with you. If you change, when you change, then you inspire other people, and then they change, and then they inspire other people, and then there's more people that change. And that's how it's grown over, like, you know, since the 50s, like where you guys were, right? Look how big it has become since then. And
when
it's all
I sent
because
these recipes off
one person made a change
that I wanted to use, I gave a reminder. I said, remember, plastic water bottles are not acceptable. You need to buy the water in the containers. You need to put out the glasses and wash them, because how many conferences do you go to and everybody's grabbing a plastic water bottle? It's not necessary, but that's what they're going to do if I don't ask. As soon as I ask, it's accommodated. So just one small change.
Yeah, exactly. I know. We just have to make those positive changes. Sonia's asking, I bought the bundle on day 1. So much to learn. That's awesome. Congrats. You're going to enjoy it. She's wondering if there's something on the social aspect. I'm in Belgium, and vegetarian starts pretty accepted, vegan almost, raw is on social. I actually have a section in my Food Journaling for Success ebook that talks about social on raw. Yeah, so you can, if you have the bundle, download the Food Journaling for Success ebook. It's like over 200 pages. It's about proactive food journaling, and there's tons of information in there, like why, social stuff, all that kind of stuff. So that's where you can find stuff from my perspective about the social thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, yes, it can feel unsocial, but in reality, all we really want to do is just chew together. That's what my husband says. He's like, we just want to chew together, right? And the reason why people tend to alienate the one who's eating the salad, right? Because like imagine you had a dinner where there was 8 people sitting around a table. One person orders sushi, one person orders pizza, one person orders steak and potatoes, one person orders lasagna or whatever, and everyone orders something different, but no one says anything to each other about it. Like they're all different dishes. It's not like it's different, but the person who orders the salad is always like excluded or questioned or what have you. And I feel that it's the fact that the salad is a mirror to the other people's choices. And when they see the salad, they immediately get defensive or offensive, or I like to say there's 4 different kinds of people. There's the inquirer who genuinely asks and is interested in what you're doing. But then you get the joker who makes a joke to make themselves feel better about their choices. Then you get the debater who debates every single point you make to make them feel better about their choices. And then you get the bully who bullies and makes fun of you because they're just basically all these people, the joker, the debater, and the bully are all using a defense mechanism because they are subconsciously threatened by the fact that you chose a salad, because that, in a way, to them, it means that you disapprove of them, or you're different, or they're losing you as a friend, or they feel judged. Like it's all in them. It has nothing to do with the fact that you just chose a salad. You're like, I just want to chew a salad today, right? Like
probably not if that's what you think. But for me, I just go back to the Doug Lyle approach. It just seems to be working really well for me. If it doesn't work down the road, you're right, I might join you for that steak. But for right now, it's working really well for me. And
yeah, and another thing that I noticed too with the social aspect is if people were asking, like I would, in my early days of raw food, I didn't always want to like tell the world that I was raw. Sometimes I wanted to buy my groceries and go home. Like I didn't want to have a conversation about it, but I would. One time there was a cashier who was asking about the amount of fresh veggies I was buying. And I was like, just trying to eat healthier. And she immediately, her guard went down. She was like, yeah, you know, me too. I really need to do that, right? So it kind of puts you on the same playing field when you're like, I'm just trying to eat healthier. Because we all know we should be eating healthier, right? So instead of saying, I'm a raw vegan and I don't eat cooked food, right? Because that just creates this like tension between people. But if you just say like, I just feel like a salad today, you know, make it like it's nothing. You don't have to go into details about why you're trying to heal and all this stuff. Because for the most part, we just want to hang out with each other and chew together and be social. And it's good to be social. We need
we're
that.
dating.
It's part of health.
And I come from a tobacco farm background, and he comes from this background. And I said that because we didn't relate on food, we had to relate on communication and other things in our life that were important. And it was the best dating experience ever, because you weren't just going to a movie and out to eat. You had to really learn about each other. And it's great when you take the food aspect out of how you communicate, because you just communicate on a deeper level.
Totally. And finding other things to do with people, like you said, instead of just dinner and a movie, go for a hike, or play a sport together, or go to like a pottery class together, learn how to dance.
Yeah.
I know my husband and I, we like to play chess when we eat sometimes too. It's like, yeah, there's food involved in that, but like for the most part, finding other things to do with people who don't eat the same as you can keep the social aspect without having to like eat the salad in front of them, right? Like,
don't worry about it. I'm really coming because I love spending time with you. Or, you know, you think of something that's really special about them, and everybody has that. And then you just kind of remove the food aspect. And then when they're ready, they'll ask. And, you know, one of the best things that happened was a friend called me one time that we had taken yoga classes. He's a yoga instructor, and he looked healthy on the outside. He called me and he said, I just came from my doctor and I have heart disease. And he's like, You tell me one book to read, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm like, okay, here's The End of Heart Disease by Joel Fuhrman. Read it. He's never looked back. Within 6 months, he reversed his heart disease, and now he is a member of our organization, loves this lifestyle. We go to their house, they come to ours. And that's what it's about. I really help one person with just that tiny piece of knowledge.
Exactly. And it was because you were just an example, and you appreciated them for who they were instead of, you know, having the food thing be a thing, because food is part of social, right? Like, we eat together, that's just a thing. But it's like letting it go and just eating the salad. If you have to eat the salad in front of them, just, you know, make it like it's not a big deal. And that can really help. And obviously it depends on who you're with too, right? Like, certain people are more open, and other people are more, they have more cognitive dissonance and they don't want to accept the new information, which is okay. I feel like the biggest thing to diffuse any kind of tension when it comes to food is love. And change the subject, give them a hug, compliment them on something, you know, like, talk about them, ask them questions that have nothing to do with the food. Just be like, oh, thanks for asking about my salad, but you know what? I really like your sweater. Or like, thanks for that phone call that you gave me the other day. I really needed that to cheer up, or whatever. Like, ask them about their job or their kids or something. Like,
anyway. If they do, they're going to find you in a private conversation, or ask for time. That's what I find. People say, do you have time that I could come over and we can talk about it? And even then, many of them don't follow it. So that's what I've learned over the time. Keep my expectations low and my disappointments won't be so high.
Great. Yeah, that's true. I believe that one of the biggest forms of human suffering is unmet expectations, because we expect all these things, especially like guarantees, like when people are like, oh, if you do this, if you are all 100% raw, you're going to heal everything, right? Like, the absolute statements and things, I kind of cringe when I hear them. But to really just be the example and to help if people are asking. And another thing too that's really helpful in social situations is to ask questions, like, be the Socratic method and ask them questions instead of preaching and giving them, like, how does that make you feel that I chose a salad? Instead of, I choose a salad because I want a salad, right? But if you're like, how do you feel looking at my salad? Or how do you feel when you eat a big raw salad? Like, ask questions instead, because then they are the ones that have to answer. And I noticed that works really well with the protein question. Like, when people ask, like, so where do you get your protein? I'll be like, I have a better question. Where do you think I get my protein? And then I make them answer it, because most people don't know. And that's why they're asking genuinely. But normally, if they're asking because they want to make fun of or make a joke or something, if you ask the question back, they have to answer. And they're going to be like, you know, some people genuinely be like, honestly, I really don't know. I'd really love for you to answer. And then you answer, right? But if you ask the question, asking the person who asks the questions is in control of the conversation. It takes practice, though. Like, you have to practice, like, constantly asking questions. But it makes for a really good listener, because you're more interested. It says to the other person, like, oh, you're interested in me. You're interested in my thoughts. So asking the question back can be really helpful, especially when you're talking about, like, veganism, or if you're doing activism for veganism, animal rights and stuff. Asking people questions and getting them to come up with the answer is way more powerful than just preaching or teaching. Agreed. Yeah, because they are the ones that have to think extra hard about, right, their answer. So yeah, it's a really beneficial way. We have somebody saying you both need to collaborate again, and we probably will, because I really enjoy this conversation. It's been such a good one. Thank you. Awesome. So I guess it's coming up on an hour, and we've got some other things that we need to do. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on my live here and sharing and being part of the bundle, because your stuff is so valuable for people to learn from. And you guys have that winter issue of the magazine in there as well.
I couldn't have gotten here without your help. I came on board late. I didn't know about it till a little bit later. And you were right there for me. So I appreciate what you're doing besides all those things you and your husband have in the package. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is like my contribution to helping people is I really want to make the bundle like a really awesome experience for people, to have it loaded with stuff that they can like, even if you don't use everything in the bundle, there's stuff for everybody, like, and then you can use, like you said, like you might use it later on down the road, right? So download all the content and everything. But I really want everyone to be successful in the bundle, not just the bundle creators, but everybody who's buying the bundle.
Maybe
too.
know me. I'd love to know what you think once you have, you know, a month or two to dive into it, because you've got to just give yourself time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so you guys, if you have like any key takeaways or aha moments, or you make any recipes from the bundle, message the creator of whatever it is. Like if you made a recipe from, say, Chris Kendall, message Chris and say, thanks for making that recipe. If you learn something from one of Wanda's conference videos, like message her and let her know. If you make one of my recipes, take a picture, send it to me. I love seeing what other people create. And I'm sure all of the content creators want to hear what you think too. Like if you do the yoga teacher training and you really enjoyed it, send Angelica a message and be like, thank you for being part of the bundle and for creating what you created, because it's just, we're all here to help you, and we're all here to
I think people should go
change
to
the world, really. That's what
you have the most beautiful photos. Besides doing it beautifully, you must have some photography skills, because it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, actually from 2008 till I would say 2018-ish, so about 10 years, I was a professional photographer. I did freelancing. Yeah, I did freelance. I had my own business. I had Rondi Photography and Candy and Cream Boudoir. So I did boudoir photography. I did weddings, newborns, family, couples, food, you name it. I did it. It was like, I went full time in around like 2012-ish. So I was full time my photography for about 6 years, because I was working 2 jobs in the beginning. I was working full time at the health food store, doing nutrition consulting and shipping and receiving. When I would do my photography at home at night. So I would have 2 jobs, and I was like exhausted all the time. But then I decided, I was like, it's one or the other. What do I want to do more? And I chose the photography because I wanted to try and challenge myself to be self-employed. So I did that for 6 years, and then Raw Food Romance just kind of picked up steam, and I was selling my ebooks and coaching and recipes and YouTube, all that kind of stuff just caught steam, and I was like, okay. And then when I started to make more money off my ebooks, I had another choice to make. Like, do I stick with the photography or do I go all in with Raw Food Romance? And I decided to go all in with the Raw Food Romance, because I felt, as much as I love photography and I loved taking the photos of people's precious memories, I can help way more people doing the raw food thing. So I can still enjoy photography because I can take beautiful pictures of the food and share that with people as well. So that's why I called it Raw Food Romance, because it was a combination of my love of photography with my love of raw food. So it was like a romance.
We'll have to get you writing in the magazine, maybe on our podcast. So I have a copy editor. I'm going to send your information to her today. And, you know, we plan them out a year in advance because you need to do that. So we'll see. That'd be great if we can meet up, work together that way.
I would be completely honored. Thank you so much. Right. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do more together. And then we'll be in another bundle next year as well. So this bundle is only once a year, and it won't be back until 2024. The vegan health and weight loss bundle will not be back until next year. So you guys have 3 days left to get it. You got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then it's gone. So if you want to grab this bundle, if you want to get Wanda's contribution, my 6 contributions, my husband's microgreens course, and all the other stuff, there's almost $6,500 worth of content for 49 bucks. Click the link in either of our bios. Right. Go check it out. Even just go to the website and scroll through and see all the stuff that you get. And I'm sure there's going to be stuff in there that's going to pique your interest.
Great.
But you only have 3 days to buy it, so
great chatting with
got to
you
get on it now. It was so great. Thank you so much, and we will definitely collaborate in the future.